Okay, well, welcome everyone. My name is Susan LaBelle, and I want to welcome you guys to our Monday Night Health Huddle. We have a great call for you guys tonight. One of my favorite topics on healthy motion. But first, before we get, I just want to kind of bring everyone together. I know some of you guys are new to the call. Some of you guys are involved in our online challenge. Some of you guys are guests and kind of just checking us out for the first time. But really, who and what we're all about is about helping awaken people to their full potential and really helping people create health in their life. And so we are in the middle of kind of a 6-week series of really the core foundation habits of health that we build upon in order for us to create health in our life. And so over the last few weeks, we've had some really great calls with some great information about making that mental shift in our optimal health journey. For many of us, we're really just like a degree away, like one little shift. It's like that one little pearl of, wisdom, information that just kind of awakens us to what's really possible in our life. And we start to implement something and we start making changes and really making progress in our health goals, which is always really exciting. And so one of the first week we covered goal setting. That was fun because it's about, having a clear goal of what you really want to create. So you are in the right direction, going where you want to go and not ending up, because you'll end up somewhere, but maybe not where you want to be. The second week, we really covered healthy fueling, which I love too. It's something we get asked about a lot, and we talked about last week why it was so important. And so I want to just pause here because we always have a lot of victories and a lot of things to celebrate, and we love hearing from you guys. So just based off of last week, and I'd love to hear from some of you guys that are just killing it out there in your health and kind of what victories you're having. So if you want to just pop off mute. We'll just do a few here at the beginning. Let us know kind of what's going really well in your health. So who's first?
I'll go.
There she is. Hey, Susie, how are you?
Hi, I'm so good. I'm enjoying the sun. It's like 75 degrees. It's awesome.
It's a little envious up here in Portland, Oregon, but it's all good.
Yeah, well, I am so excited. Just because I feel like in just the last month for me, a lot has really shifted in my mindset. And I think I talk about that, like anytime we talk about victories, I get so excited to share. But I just feel like a lot has changed in my mindset where I'm actually feeling like I'm really moving towards health and not away from something, but I'm moving towards something. And it's been really, really helping me move forward because I feel like I'm constantly progressing because I'm not worrying about what's behind me anymore. I'm just going forward all the time. And so I really kicked it up a notch, and I'm down like 10 pounds in the last month, less than a month, I think, about a month. But more than that, like I'm just excited. I'm excited for what's ahead. I feel great, and it's just a whole new ball game, and I'm really happy about it.
Susie, I love that. And what I love? That's a huge shift. I mean, it sounds little, but that's a big mental shift to be moving towards what you want and not focusing on what you don't want, which a lot of times we're focusing on like, I don't want to be overweight, but really we should be focusing on, I want to create a healthier body. And so I love that. And then it really sets you up to take those next steps about what you want to create in your health. So congrats, Susie. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you. Thanks.
All right. Well, we have time for another one. Anyone else want to pop off and share their victory with us? Oh, don't be shy. We're all family.
All right, I ain't shy. Hello, everybody. I just want to tell everyone that in the last 2 weeks and being on our healthy challenge that we've been putting together for the 6-week long haul, it's just amazing. Every day we set goals and we try and achieve them. And my man Brad over there is, he's been posting, and so I was like, yeah, man, I got to get to that too. So for Brad, thank you for pushing me, and that's that shift that I needed. So that's a victory for me, making that shift, like you said, Susan.
Yeah, no, so good, COC. And what I love about that is what you're talking about is support and community, which I think is so key and something that sometimes we don't even know how much we desire and want to be around like-minded people as we do kind of shift our mind towards creating health in our life. So that's awesome that you kind of have just someone in your corner, right, cheering you on. So yeah, guys, that's kind of what we're doing here is we are building on these foundational habits. And I'm really excited because this week is, like I said, one of my very favorites. We're going to be focusing on healthy motion and really how does that work and how do we incorporate that into our life? And I really want to just start with probably one of my favorite quotes that as I've been coaching now for about 6 years, about you can't chase two rabbits, because if you do, you're going to lose them both. And what that means for me is when I'm thinking of setting health goals, a lot of times we have a lot of things we want to accomplish in our health. Like we want to reach a healthy weight. Maybe we want to increase our muscle mass. We want to increase our endurance. We want to have better sleep. We want to increase our hydration. We've got a lot of things, but we can't do it all at once, because when we try to do it all at once, we end up not being able to do any of it well or at all. So really having a clear, like, what am I focusing on now? Because this is creating health is progressive. We are optimizing our health at each level. And so sometimes we have to focus on one thing. And as we reach that goal, then we can shift our focus and start creating on a new health goal, because it's always about creating new. And so really, what are we focusing on? If it's weight loss, maybe muscle building comes second. I'm going to share a little bit of my story about what that looks like. But really just creating new habits that we can build upon and be moving forward in our health. And I just wanted to share these two quotes as I was kind of putting this together today. For me, my why, my motivation of wanting to even set out on this journey is my kids. And so I know that they do what I do and not what I say. So if I'm like, you guys should exercise more, you should, but then I'm not walking the walk. For me, I really wanted to be that role model for them, to show them that, like, I'm doing it. And you know what? They love to go run around and do the things that I do, because I'm modeling for them how great it feels to have a healthy body. And my oldest is 9, and he thanked me the other day for staying healthy, because he knows I'm going to be around longer. And for him, that he's starting to see the value of that in his life. And so really, really grateful for that. And insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And that always cracks me up, because I was a hardcore workouter for years. I ran a marathon, you guys, at a size 12, 35 pounds overweight. I ran multiple. It was painful. And when I think back to why I was running to lose weight. I was not running because I love to run. And so I should have posted one of those pictures of me up there. It was kind of horrid, but I didn't know any other way. I thought, I'm just going to out exercise what I really wanted to create in my life. And so here's the cold hard facts, and the truth is that 60% of people out there don't get any really regular physical exercise. 25% of Americans right now are doing no activity at all. And 50% of those who begin something, they're quitting within months. And all these people that are buying, exercise equipments or joining a gym, they just become repurposed, or they aren't, those memberships they're not even going after 1 or 2 months. And so what are we're almost like we're focusing on the wrong thing. Like, we know the value of exercise, but things aren't always lining up or clicking in our society. And I'm really excited to have a friend and a partner on with me today to be sharing a little bit more about, maybe why some of these things are and how we can shift that for you guys, so that exercise, healthy motion just becomes something fun and exciting and something you want to stick with and create in your life. And it's not just about doing something for a short term and being done. So I got bold, and I'm going to share my, before and during. I'm never at an after, because I'm in process of creating health in my life. But I represent these numbers here because I had to ditch the scale. The scale for me, when I made the decision after reaching in a healthy weight range, I still didn't love the way my body composition was. And maybe some of you guys resonate with that. I loved the components of, the healthy fueling 6 times a day, and was able to shift to a, 3-in-3 program, incorporating my whole clean foods to support my working out. But I desired to increase more lean mass and shift my body composition. And the quote on the top is really about how it takes time. It's not something that happened overnight, but I knew where I was going, and it was really just for me about making progress. So I've been on this process for 6 years. The scale looks different, but my measurements look different. And really, I'm just focused on progress, feeling healthier, and, really the way my body looks and feels versus being dictated by the scale. So that's really my story. And I get the honor of bringing on Casey, because we've been on this journey for a long time together. Casey, he's an awesome guy, but also has a fitness facility. And I'm going to let him tell you really like his background. Some of you heard him share last week on healthy fueling, and why we're having him back this week is because him more than anyone knows the link between healthy fueling and healthy motion, and how they you can't really separate the two. They kind of go together to really create what people want. So Casey, you there?
I'm here. Thanks, Susan.
Yeah, take it away.
All right. Well, yeah, my background, guys, is clinical nutrition and exercise, and I've been doing that for over 20 years now. And I have seen the cycles of people coming in and trying to lose weight through exercise and not accomplishing that, or going through yo-yo plans, whether they're whole and organic plans, but they're just ups and downs, and they help people lose weight, but then they gain it back because they haven't established those habits. So it's really common that this happens. And those stats of people that join a gym to lose weight and are not successful, they're really true. They either stop coming out of just like, why would I even go? I'm not seeing anything. Or they just cancel their membership completely. And then chances are they've heard that that's what they need to do is exercise, so they try another form of exercise. So do we have the next slide available, Susan? Because there's some topics that I think are definitely big things that all of us have probably experienced already. But the number one and number two kind of go together. Is it sustainable? You know, are these things that you can do when you start an exercise program? Can you do it long term? Because what we're trying to create here is a lifetime of healthy habits. And if you go all in the first couple of weeks, or even the first day, and you're so sore you can't even continue on for the next week, it's going to be a big challenge. And it's going to be very hard for you to maintain that for a very long period of time. Is it fun? You know, you got to find something that you enjoy. You got to find something that's convenient for you. A good story is my mother-in-law hired me as a personal trainer several years ago, and she was making a 25-minute drive coming out and trying to fit it into her schedule and my schedule, and it just wasn't really working out that well. Well, what happened was she had a kickboxing place open up right next to her office. And she started going to kickboxing like 3 or 4 days a week consistently because it was right across the street. And she ended up just loving the class and loving the results that she was getting. But in some people's minds, you could almost think, well, kickboxing is more efficient of an exercise than working out with one-on-one with Casey. And that's not entirely true. It could be a Zumba, it could be jazzercise, it could be boot camp, it could be CrossFit. The whole point is that it was consistency, it was fun, it was convenient, and it was able to happen for a long period of time consistently, and that's what gave the results. So we can't get caught up with the idea of certain exercises are going to be better than other ones because it might be running for some people. It might be basketball for some people. Does it match your goals? Here's a big one that comes up. If your goal is to run a marathon like Susan did, and that's the reason why you want to drop 35 pounds, then it's probably pretty important that you're already exercising. You're already doing some form of running by the time you lose the 35 pounds. Because if you set your calendar to hit that goal on the day of the marathon, if you haven't ran one lick, you're probably going to have some troubles running, right? So if it matches your goal, then awesome. For some people, it may not match it at all. If you are kind of caught up on that scale, or let's say, for example, you have a wrestling weight that you have to hit, you have to get under a certain weight, then the scale becomes really important, and the muscle mass maybe doesn't as much. So, we'll take a look at that scale on number 7, because that's something that we have to throw out the window once you start exercising, and just use it as a reference point, but not as your main indicator of success. Reinforcing your health journey. Of course, again, this is something that if you keep on developing your skills and your exercise techniques, that you can continue on to something new, and it establishes a new goal. Maybe you start out with walking that turned into hiking or climbing a mountain. And then, of course, non-exercise versus exercise. There's so many things you can do that are not traditional forms of exercise. You guys all know what they are, but that would be, taking the stairs instead of elevator, parking the farthest parking spot away as you can, all those type of things. And then supporting your eating plan. The interesting thing about this is, one of my goals is that I'm very competitive when I work out. Give me an AMRAP or give me some kind of a time challenge, and I don't want to get beat. So I actually use my nutritional program to support my exercise passion. So if I'm exercising consistently, I'm eating very well, because I want that to go hand in hand to make sure that I'm the best that I can be when I'm exercising. If I stop exercising, guess what goes out the window? My nutrition. It should be exactly the opposite. If your exercise slows down, your nutrition should be even more perfect. But because that eating plan supports my exercise status, then it becomes extremely important for me to follow that habit loop around that direction. So just a couple of points. I'm sure some people have experienced some of these things before. Hopefully that brings a little bit of light to these 7 points here. But I guess, I don't know if we can take questions, but that's pretty much what I had for this slide.
Well, Casey, I'd love to dialogue with you just real quick, because I think, since we focus so much on the nutritional piece, what would you say, people say it's 80% nutrition, 20% exercise, like, or 90, I've heard a bunch of, and it's hard to make a hard, fast percentage, but like, how much would you say it really is when people have a goal of reaching, just being in a healthy way? How much would you say is nutrition, and how does and being that we focus heavily on that, but we're also for healthy motion. Can you just kind of go into that a little bit about that aspect of?
Well, I mean, there was kind of an interesting story. I think it was probably around a long time. I won't even say the date. It was a number of years ago. I was actually getting ready for a bodybuilding contest. It was one that I was guest appearing in. And I had made a goal commitment because I was going to school to be a dietitian, that I was going to do a bodybuilding show without doing any cardiovascular exercise whatsoever. So I did my normal weight training routine, and then I just dialed in my nutrition, and I walked on stage as a competitive bodybuilder having done no cardio. Now, what I can tell you is I couldn't breathe when I was posing because I had no cardio. So that wasn't a good thing. But I would say 100%, Susan, because 100%, I mean, it's everything that you're putting in. It's either going to fuel your workouts, so 100% of that energy is going to be established for, making sure that you have the correct protein, the correct fat, because the fat's going to be important for creating cholesterol, and cholesterol is important for your hormones and your cells and all of those things. So everything's going to come back to the quality of food that you're eating, and that you're getting enough of the building blocks to actually carry you forward. So whether it's weight loss, muscle gain is a huge one that a lot of people don't get, but for a lot of people, they can't eat enough food, or eating that much food is as difficult for some of us that need to eat a little bit less. Okay, so for me, I don't want to eat much less than I'm already eating. But for other people, they're eating so much, trying to put on muscle mass, that all they want to do is stop eating. So it becomes kind of an issue in itself. It's a reverse rule of what most of us usually deal with. But it is 100% of the goal is how you're fueling it. What do those macronutrients look like? What do those nutrients look like? Vitamins and minerals and all those things, but also hydration. The interesting thing is for some of you, if you started exercising, you might have known or felt that you're a little lethargic when you get started exercising right off the bat. And the very interesting thing about that is when you're on a ketogenic plan or you're on a low carbohydrate plan, your blood volume is actually a little bit low. And what you want to do before you even exercise is take in about 1 to 2 cups of water, literally I won't even say 30 minutes, like 10 minutes before you exercise. It will increase your blood volume, and you'll actually, it's not enough, or the water isn't taken too early where it's already going to start to be detoxed and into the urination system. But it's going to give you that blood volume so that your workouts are going to pick up and your blood pressure is going to rise a little bit. And you're going to feel really great. So again, that's one of the huge things that a lot of people run into is a little bit of that sodium imbalance, a little bit of that low volume in their blood. And just fixing those couple of things can make your exercise feel so much better.
Awesome. Casey, I could just pick your brain for hours because I know you're beyond knowledgeable. So I love that you really, to put a bow on that, is 100% of it's nutrition. It supports our goals. And I love that, we do make that a big focus, but, just to kind of piggyback on that is that people that come to our program with weight loss as their primary goal, we have a great program to help them reach their optimum weight. And many will think I can't work out, but really it's about, cutting back on, just time and intensity for a season. But we are not about eliminating exercise. And really there's a time and a place for us to be adding it back in. And especially as we start into, transitioning into optimizing your health, it is really important that we support that with the nutrition, but that we want to increase our motion and our activity based on what sounds fun and what we're doing. Does that sound kind of in a nutshell, Casey? Give me 2 thumbs up, yay. Yeah. So very awesome. Thank you, Casey. Thankful to have you here. Next, I'm going to bring on Amber, because Amber is just a great representation of this in her own journey. So just someone who, Amber, I'll let you share, but I know you used to work out a ton and we're really trying to out exercise the fork, and really came to this program being like, I'm not reaching my goals just through exercise alone. And why don't you just share a little bit about what this has been like for you, just with healthy motion, and then utilizing the other habits of health in your health path.
Awesome. Perfect. No, thank you, Susan. I've loved this call because yes, this has been kind of a lifelong struggle for me. I started after I had my fourth son, and when you have four boys that are all pretty little and active, there's not a lot of time to go to the gym. And I literally panicked. Like, I was like, how am I going to do this? Like, how am I going to get my weight off? Because that was all I knew. And literally by the time I got it off, it was like pregnant again. And 4 times over, like, it gets old, right? Like, I was like, seriously, like, come on. And I had a friend that lost 50 pounds with the program. And I started to help some loved ones. And I was shocked. Like, I kid you not, in 2 weeks of just changing my nutrition, like, it was like the muscles I had been fighting to see for 4 years in the gym. I was like, oh my gosh, like, they really were there, but I couldn't see them. Like, it was like the most freedom I've ever had to know that I could exercise, like Casey said, because I like it and it's fun, but it no longer became this chore. And it just has provided so much freedom for me to know that if we have a busy day or the kids are sick or whatever, and I don't make it to the gym, like, I don't have to starve myself that day. Like, it's okay. Like, I can just, have the freedom in the nutritional balance and the tools that I've learned to not have to live that kind of slave to the gym life. And I just love, like Casey said, you see so many people at the gym that are there day in and day out, not making progress. And I just ache for them. And so that is why I just love sharing, because it's provided so much freedom for me. And I love now that we can exercise as a family. And so the boys are getting that too. But definitely nutrition is where it is at, for sure.
I love it. No, that's awesome. And we've had dialogue about this, Amber, just over the years. And I too, like, saw the same people at the gym every day for years and their bodies weren't changing yet. I still bought into that's the way to go. And I'm a big advocate for it. I mean, I've put on 14 pounds over the last few years of muscle, which is exciting, but I've had to shift my nutrition to support that. And I know you're in that process too. So just congrats, and thank you for sharing. And I love that, because exercise is meant to be fun. Exercise is not meant to be a punishment. Like, oops, I ate a big meal last night. Now I'm going to go have to work out for 3 hours. And that's not what it's meant for. It's meant to be fun and to feel good and support our goals. And for some of us, we're so focused on reaching a healthy body weight is that we think that's the end point. But what's so exciting is that we're on a forward moving path, and you're never stagnant. You're either moving forward or you're moving back. You're never staying the same. And so I hope you guys come with us, finish out the last of the 6-week series of just kind of building those foundational core habits of health as we're on our path towards improving our health. And really our question for the week that I want to leave you guys with is, it's time to kind of maybe start exploring your healthy motion and what sounds fun to you. Because again, what's sustainable? What are you going to get excited about every day to get up and go do? And maybe it's, maybe it's Taekwondo. Maybe it is running. Maybe it's, walking. Maybe it is going to the gym and doing classes, or maybe it's just, gardening and, a dance class or dancing with your kids. I mean, there's so many things we can do to just move our body more and help us create health. So what sounds fun to you? Because when you enjoy doing it, you do it. And that's the key, is consistency. So with that, you guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the call. Thank you guys for joining us. We love our time with you and love Monday. Let's have a great week as we kind of launch into another great week. We hope to see you guys all back next Monday on our Health Huddle next week for kind of the 4th week of our 6-week series. So, all right, you guys, have a great, healthy night and week. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, Susan.